to another video. So this will be day 23 of the yoga challenge. So today I wanted to just take a moment on my mat to talk about the differences in body types and what that looks like. I did do a video on this on the Facebook page quite a long time ago when I first got out of training, but I thought it was so important to be able to bring it up again and talk about it here on YouTube as well. So a lot of people get a little bit discouraged and frustrated because they feel that it doesn't matter how hard they work at yoga, they're not gaining the flexibility that they should, or they're not feeling like they're moving in any direction, and they feel kind of stuck. And one of the things that had come up in training a lot was how different our bodies all are. So our bodies are so different. So what's going to work for one person is not going to work for another person. And a lot of that is just how your anatomical structure is. So it's nothing to do with you not being strong enough or flexible enough or anything else really. It's just to do with how you're built. And that's not taking into account any injuries and any traumas that our body has faced, whether that is physical or emotional, and where we hold that energy in our bodies. So I wanted to do a few things to show you guys how different we are and talk a little bit about why some people can do these really deep back bends and other people can't, and why some people can get their heels to the ground and other people can't. So one of the biggest things that has been brought to my attention over the years of me teaching, is that I get into Baddha Konasana really easily. So that's with your feet forward and your knees are dropped open to the side and then folding forward here. So as you can see, this is very simple for me. But what people don't understand is when they see that, it's not just about flexibility in the hip flexors. It's actually because I'm externally rotated. So a nice little exercise we can do to show how our hips are sitting in our body is by laying your legs forward. You can lay down on your back or just place your legs forward and allow your legs to drop open to the side. Now you can see with my legs are open to the side, and there's an external rotation here. For some people it's an internal rotation, so when they sit their feet will go inward. I actually have a niece who's severely internally rotated, that she walks with her feet inward. There might be one person with one kind of straight up and down and one inward, or vice versa, one out and one in. And so that's just how your hips are sitting. So you can imagine if you are somebody who is internally rotated, so your feet are coming inward, doing any postures like Baddha Konasana where we're externally rotating our hips is going to be extremely uncomfortable, right? And for me, doing any internal rotations into the hips when we do standing postures and we're internally rotating this hip inward is challenging for me. So it's understanding that we all have different structure as well as even one side to the next. You might have, like I said, one external rotated hip and one kind of internal rotated hip. So on one side, when you're doing specific postures might feel really good, and then on the other side you're like, why does this not feel good at all? And it could be just something as simple as that. So the other place that we notice this a lot is in the shoulders. So where the shoulders come in, a lot of people, we do these arms up. And for some people, we end up kind of hitting a bone-on-bone thing. So we kind of get up to here and it feels kind of stuck. So we have this little bit of bone-on-bone action. We're not able to lift our arms all the way up. So for me, I don't have any issues with that. I can come quite close and I can come quite wide. But if I allow myself to feel where it's most comfortable, it's about here. So this is where I sit in my shoulders quite comfortably. Now for some people, you might be way out here. So of course, when you're doing yoga and you see people that are like this, you might be sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, I should be like this, but your arms just don't want to go there. And that's totally fine. That just means that is the way that your shoulders are sitting in the socket, so you're not able to reach. That's why when we do side angle, standing side angle, where we go like this, that we can actually swing our arm this way as well to get into the posture, because this way you might start hitting a bone and not be able to quite get there. So swinging around the other way makes that more available. So there's all these cool tricks and stuff that we can use to help us, and props as well are an awesome option. So for some of us, we have shorter arms. So let's say we're doing a bind. And if you have really short arms, when you're doing a bind, reaching under your leg here and reaching around, as you can tell, I can grab my fingers, but it's very short. Like, I don't have a lot of room. I couldn't grab my wrist if I had to. So using a strap in these cases, if you have a short arm, to be able to reach through if you want to do a bind. The other thing I talked about is using blocks for lifts. So if you want to use a block to lift you up a little bit higher, so you can do the jump throughs and stuff, that just extends that hand out a little bit, right? So the cool thing about yoga is that we are all so different, and that's one reason why I say don't compare yourself to anybody. I have fairly deep back bends, not as deep as a lot of people I've seen, but I have fairly deep back bends, which I will show you in the next video. But it's confusing to people, because people think that, well, if I just stretch more, then I will get there. And even though tightness can be part of the issue, it also can be just the way that your vertebrae are sitting. If they're very close together, you're not going to have any room to be able to bend backwards. But if you have spaces in between, you have more room to open up into those back bends. So that's just another thing. The last one that I can think of that's really common too is the heels that can hit the floor. So when we're in down dog, we have these heels that are floating up, and sometimes it is just tight muscles along the hamstrings and behind the legs, but sometimes it's just an anatomical thing. So keeping your hips up or using a prop underneath your heels can really help to assist you and make just yoga so much more enjoyable. That's why we have the props, because we recognize that we all are so beautifully different, and that we can't get into all these poses the same, and we all look different. So why not, use the props and feel confident in your practice and empowered in your practice, because you can move into those postures so much more better than trying to avoid them and then feeling like you are failing at yoga, right? So use the props if you can, or if you have them. And yeah, always look for modifications, and recognize that if there's something that's just like in your body and you just are like, I cannot do this, it doesn't matter how long I do this for, I just can't seem to do it. It might just be the way that your body is built. So celebrate the postures you can do, and the ones that you struggle with, take it with a grain of salt. We're always going to have something that we have to work at, or something that is really uncomfortable because of the way that we are made. All right, so that is all for me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like the video, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff, and we will see you next time. Namaste.